I started my business with one financial principle that I would grow it without taking any loans or going into debt. Sure, I didn't have the best camera starting out, and I only shot with a 50 millimeter at sessions, but I saved up and only spent it once I had the money in my account. As small business owners, we are in charge of knowing where our business stands financially. If we don't track it, we could be spending more than we make, putting ourselves on an uphill climb and our businesses at risk. If we just look at our income as the notifications pop up on our phones, but don't track where our money is going, we may end up in debt. It can be easy to just swipe the card, but that can turn into a vicious cycle quickly. In addition to that, not knowing our expenses each month or even just each project could mean that we are not charging correctly for our time. We're putting in the work and we deserve to be compensated for that. But if you're just throwing prices out there and not looking at your expenses, then you may be missing out on the profit that you deserve. Hi, I'm Heather, a wedding and senior photographer based in PA. On this channel, I love educating other photographers about taxes and finances as a small business owner. I'm so excited that you're here because in this video, I'm going to share how to track where your business money is going and how to analyze it and make changes. This video is brought to you by my 15 business tax category breakdowns guide. In this guide, I'll walk you through the 15 most common tax write-off categories and what expenses fall under each of them. Plus, I'll give you a few caveats that you should know about for some of these categories. You can find that down in my show notes. The first thing I want to go over is setting up a tracking system. You can either do this manually with a spreadsheet or with an accounting software. It just depends on if your business can financially afford to pay for the software monthly. I personally started out with a spreadsheet that I created for my first 2 years of business and then added an accounting software. For me specifically, it was QuickBooks. After my business was bringing in more money and I was busier and needed to give up tasks. Either way, the two things that you need to make sure you're tracking is your income and your expenses. And then to take it a step further, you want to analyze how they compare with each other. I recommend creating a section in your spreadsheet that is all about income. And then separately do a section that's just for expenses. Makes it easier separating the two, but then at the bottom, analyzing and comparing them. Doing it separately allows you to create a running list of your income and your expenses as you make and spend it. Each time a new transaction shows up in your bank account, you'll want to note it in your spreadsheet and make sure you track what the money was for, the date that it was spent or received, and how much. Keeping the amount on its own column allows you to easily create an equation in the spreadsheet to total everything up. Plus, you'll be able to easily subtract out your expenses from your income, giving you a total on what your profit is. Creating a new sheet for each month with the same layout gives you a zoomed in look at your business monthly, and then also you can compare it yearly. Now, for your expenses section, so that your spreadsheet can be beneficial for taxes too, I would create a subsection under the expenses section so that you can start organizing your expenses for tax purposes and also for your business. Categories like education, office supplies, equipment, and travel allow you to easily send it off to your accountant because these are categories that they need to know for deductions. But then it also lets you see how much you're spending under each of those categories for your own benefit. These categories relate to tax deductions, but then also are very beneficial for you so that you can see where the large majority of your money is going in your business. Make sure the spreadsheet is set up that it can total up each of these categories individually as well as overall and then yearly based off of each of those months. This makes it easy to grab those totals for your accountant or CPA and send them off at the end of the year. If setting up a spreadsheet makes your heart race, then take a deep breath. Down in the show notes, you can find a link to my tax prep spreadsheet. This spreadsheet will not only get your numbers ready for tax season, but it will also allow you to see your profit and loss for each month and overall for the year. You can easily visualize where your money is going and know that your business is making money. Check it out in the show notes. Now that you have your tracking system set up, let's talk about how to analyze your spending. With the different expense categories created, you can now compare them with each other. Spreadsheets make it really easy to create a real-time pie chart so you can see the percentage you have spent for each of these categories at any time you add an expense. The pie chart makes it really easy to visualize where your money is going overall. Once you know that, you can start figuring out if too much is going to a certain category. Maybe you're spending too much on education or equipment and you need to slow down. It can be easy to want the new shiny thing that someone else has, but if you're not at the point or making as much as they are, then you may need to save up for that piece of equipment instead of going into debt for it. Or maybe you're spending a lot on ads. If you're not seeing a positive return on investment, then maybe it's time for you to reduce that spending or stop it altogether and try a new marketing strategy. Or maybe it's that you realize that you're not charging enough in your packages because the expenses that go with each client is more than you realize and you're not paying yourself enough for your time. Keeping your income and expenses up to date allows you to see if your business is financially healthy. It also shows you where you may be spending money that you didn't realize, such as a software that you don't use anymore but are still paying for. Identifying these expenses and eliminating them allows you to have a larger profit at the end of the year. And lastly, it saves you time for tax season. With this tracking system, your numbers are ready to be shared with your accountant, and you don't have to scramble to gather everything when March comes around. So I encourage you to set up a tracking system and analyze it each month. This allows you to stay up to date on your finances so you can always know where your business is. Don't push it off till the end of the year because you may be missing out on profit you could have made. And don't forget, you can grab the download for my free 15 business tax category breakdown guide so you can set up your spreadsheet so that it's streamlined for tax prep purposes as well. If creating a spreadsheet stops you in your tracks, you can grab my tax prep spreadsheet at the link in the show notes so you don't have to stress and can start tracking your numbers right away. Let me know if you have any questions by dropping them down in the comments, and make sure to hit subscribe so you know when the next video comes out. All about confidently knowing what taxes to charge your clients and which ones you owe. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and thanks for tuning in. Bye, guys.